get dough. I can't get no sleep, which make my life more simple. Miles inside these shoes, so I don't stomp, I tiptoe. Fell 1,000 times and still I roll no limp though. But I wouldn't trade a thing for what I had. I go hard, do what I need to make.
What is up, everyone? Let me know if you're getting audio and all that stuff. This is all brand new software to me, so I'm kind of figuring it out as I go. So you should be able to comment on YouTube, Sooner State Overland, or my West OK Overland page, and they all pop up. So looks like the audio is working good. First of all, if anybody wants to jump on here and chat a little bit as well, let me know. I'll send out the link if I can figure out how and have you come join me. So it's going to be slow, going to be me rambling because I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm not a professional podcaster or anything and don't really want to be. So looks like the audio is working good. I'm not sure on the Facebook user. If I remember right, if you don't comment on one of the originals, it pops up that instead of your username. But anyways, as people are rolling on here, I just kind of want to give a reason to why I'm doing this. To me, this is an easy way to get information and stuff out without having to edit and do a bunch of work behind the scenes. My goal with this is to keep things local. A lot of the podcasts and shows and stuff you see, it's more about the guests, which are great because I listen to and I watch a lot of this stuff. But a lot of these people are traveling the world and doing things that honestly I don't see myself doing in the next 5 years. Maybe at some point I'll be able to do that. But I'm a local, I'm a weekend warrior, whatever you want to call it. I think a lot of people can agree with that. And I want to hear what Oklahomans are doing, what trips you're going on, whether it's in Oklahoma or you're going somewhere else. I want to hear about others that, kind of rank the same as me, as well as be able to share information and stuff about things that relate to us. I think this would be a way we could do topics. Like one of the ones I want to do is I want to bring some people on that have rooftop tents and a few on that have ground tents, and kind of just talk about why they chose what they chose. Because I think that's the best way to learn is to actually talk to people using this stuff, and not some big YouTuber that's sponsored by someone and pushing product and things like that. So I'm testing out the camera here, the software here. So if things glitch, if you lose me at some point, just let me know. Like I said, this is the first time I've went live. I actually never tested this until just now. So apparently it's working. Ben says, congrats on the new edition. Thanks, bud. It's been a change for those of you that don't follow me on my personal page. There is a new addition to the West OK Overland family. So Hudson was brought into the world this week, and he's already excited to go on some trips with me, I'm sure. I'm definitely excited to go on trips with him. So yes, I can see the comments here, but for some reason, some of the people are popping up as Facebook user. I'm not sure what post you're commenting on, whether that's Sooner State Overland or my West OK Overland post. Some of the names are showing up. Some of them are just showing up as Facebook user. Having people on the podcast going over stories of different people's adventures would be amazing to see. I agree. Again, I spend a lot of time watching podcasts and listening to podcasts and stuff with work. I think it's a great platform, but I think a lot of them end up going and they're seeking the growth option of things, and so the bigger guests they have, the bigger growth they're going to have, which I don't blame them, especially if you want to get sponsored and stuff, because even doing this live stream tonight, this isn't free. So the bigger guests and stuff, I see the point to that, but I like hearing the everyday person. I mean, I want you to tell me a story of somewhere you went that I can also go do that. Yeah, I could go to Alaska or go do some big trek and go to other continents at some point in my life, but I don't see it coming anytime soon. So those local stories and stuff, that's going to be the goal of this if it keeps working. So it looks like Jaws is on West OK and it's just popping up Facebook user. So I don't know if that's because you're not a part of a group or maybe privacy settings. I don't know. Subscriber stories. Yep, I like that. And this one, watching on the West OK page and popping up names. So I'm not sure how that works. I know a lot of the other people have kind of had some weird things where it just says Facebook user. So I don't really know on that. But anyways, yeah, that's the goal, is to try to grow this eventually and just be local stuff. Talk about things relevant to us. I know Sunday nights is probably a pretty horrible night for most people. With work for me, though, that's kind of my only option. The rest of the week, I work late. I'm gone, maybe in a hotel and stuff at night. And so, I just really can't do it then. And what I'd like to do is, if someone is going out on a trip, say they went out this weekend, let me know if they want to do a trip recap, and they could pop in Sunday night and be like, hey, here's where we went this weekend. Here's what we found that was good. Here's what we found that was bad. Just kind of stuff like that would be great. On the West OK stream and don't see the Facebook user chats. Again, I have no idea. I'm sure I'll learn as I go. But anyways, that's going to be the goal for this. Eventually, we'll kind of get it more planned out. Tonight, I mainly just wanted to hop on. There's a few things I'll go over, kind of upcoming stuff since the fall's rolling around. And just kind of get an update out there, but mainly testing things tonight, see how this goes. It looks like I've got about 16 people watching tonight, which is about 16 more than I expected. So that's good. So we got someone at Quartz Mountain State Park. I think that's the Wolf's Den. I think this is the weekend he was headed that way, maybe. Quartz Mountain is actually, I've been there. I've never camped there though. That's on my to-do list. I actually was working on some routes down in that area. I just haven't made it down there to do much yet. Again, for people joining up lately, if you want to join in, let me know. I'll pull you on the screen. You can talk about, a trip you've been on, trip you're going on, whatever. Just let me know and I'll send you the link there if I can figure out how to do that. Ben says, looks like they're posting through the Sooner State page. Facebook is top tech. Man, honestly, Facebook here lately has been letting me down. I've shared some posts and some videos and stuff, and I'll go back and look, and one post may have 1,000 people it reaches, and then the next one I get like 3, and I don't even know how 3, because I mean that doesn't even make sense, because I know at least I would have seen it and been part of that 3. So Facebook here lately has been really crappy. So if you do follow anybody, not just me, try to go back and look at their page every now and then. I go to groups every now and then, and even my own groups I run, I'll see posts that I keep missing. So yeah, I do prefer YouTube when I watch stuff, but I mainly because I download a lot of this stuff after the fact and watch it later. So someone said, hey. Yep, that was the Wolf's Den. Like the idea of keeping it local, and I'm not even local to Oklahoma. Well, you're our neighbor, so that's close enough for me. I think we cross a lot of the same paths anyways, just not at the same time. So, Arkansas, especially the Ozarks and Ouachita, that's kind of our playground as well. Because here in Oklahoma, there's not a lot of great stuff to choose from. So we tend to go that way anyways. But yeah, I like to hear those stories of people that, to me is relevant. When I started Sooner State Overland, a while back, that was the goal, is to be relevant, whether you're there with the Prius and your sleeping bag or your pillows and blankets off your bed and you're sleeping in the back seat, or you have a fully built rig, we all have the same drive and all have the same adventure. And I think we can all get together and have a good time. Some of the groups out there, if you're not traveling the world, if you're not traveling multiple continents, you're not an overlander. And to me, that's just the ultimate level of overlanding. You can overland in your backyard and do all that stuff and have a good time. David says, honestly, I go to New Mexico to camp more often than Oklahoma, unless there's a group trip in Oklahoma. I do love New Mexico, so don't blame you there. It's okay. From Norman, most of my overlanding is northwest Oklahoma around Woodward and northwest Arkansas. I do love Arkansas. I like the west side of the state. Of course, this is my background. This is why West OK Overland is me, because this is, my backyard. But the reason you don't see me much on the east side of Oklahoma is because if I'm going to drive that far, I'm going to go a little farther into Arkansas, and I love me some Arkansas. I try to go at least once or twice a year. So Arkansas is a great place. And if you know what you're doing, you can get over there with any rig and have a good time and see a lot of stuff. So as we got people rolling in here, did anybody get out this weekend? Did anybody do anything? I know the weather's starting to change, and it's one of those things. I think we're going to go from 100 degrees to snow in almost no time. So for those of us like me that have parts piled up that I need to get put on my rigs before this fall season kicks off, I think it's going to be an unexpected surprise, and we're going to have to roll into trips pretty dang soon. But let me know if you went out anywhere in the last week or two. I know a few people have, but it's still been too hot for me. No solid plans, but the weather is getting cooler. Even today, the temperature was up there, but it was cooler out there. Southeast Oklahoma is also on my bucket list this fall. So that brings up a good point. As far as Sooner State Overland, we're a family friendly, everyone's welcome kind of thing. And I do plan trips, group events and stuff with that. However, if anybody else wants to plan up some trips, let me know. I'll help you plan them. I just can't plan and commit to being to all of them, especially if it's the east side of the state that I don't know as well. But if someone else wants to help run one, let me know, reach out. We'll make an official Sooner State Overland trip or something if you want. It is a lot of work, but I've kind of done it and did a lot of the good and bad things with it. So hopefully this fall we'll start picking up some of the east side of the state as well. Have I been down Frog Bayou, whatever? Can't talk. I have not. At least intentionally. I think I've been down part of it. But that's one that I do have in mind to hit up at some point. Someone gearing up for rendezvous. I think it's probably Jaws. I agree. I have paid. I will be there. Although I don't know exactly what my plans are or what rig I'm taking yet. I'll figure that out. Rigs and coffee this weekend. I wish I would have made it, but with the whole newborn and stuff, I chose to stay home just in case. Mr. Photography here went cruising north of the Wichita Mountains this morning. That's another area that I love of Oklahoma, but I don't go down there much because there is some touristy spots. Although something tells me you have a lot of good spots that aren't touristy that you've checked out. 11 Point River. I've actually never heard of that one. I'll have to look that one up. Headed to Sandy Sanders if the rain isn't too bad. That's a good point. Right now, Sandy Sanders is dry. They actually had a race out there this weekend, a little foot race. It's like 50 miles of 100-degree running, and I would die in that. But I know it was dry and dusty out there. But Sandy Sanders is another good one. If you've never been there on the west side of the state, I love Sandy Sanders. It's totally unique. It's something you wouldn't expect just passing through the area. The Goose Island trip they're doing, I think you may be referring to the one where they're doing the cleanup. I think that's an awesome event. That looks like a good time. Probably a little too far of a drive for me. Canton Lake trip. I haven't been to Canton Lake in a little while. I will do another group trip out there before it closes down for hunting season, at least the WMA. So that's coming up. So OKC Overland, I can't talk. Planning a group camp out after November. If you know me at all, you know I do support a lot of the other overland groups in Oklahoma. I'm pretty much on all of them, and there's a lot of good people on all of them. And OKC Overland is one that if you're from the OKC area or interested in the OKC area, there's a ton of great people on there, and a lot of them are actually active, which is great. So be sure and check out OKC Overland if you're not. That's a lot of the same guys I run with here on the west side of the state because I'm not too far from them. And yes, I am planning a Red Rock Canyon event in November. Last year it was the second week in November. It'll probably be the same thing here, second weekend. I'm hoping to start pushing that here in the next couple weeks and start planning that. It's going to be similar to how I did it last year, just laid back, meet and greet, hang out kind of thing. But I'm going to try to do more classes this year. If I can get some people that want to teach some things and maybe even help organize that. I would also like to do some group rides. Now, I know we don't have trails or anything, and most of what we have around here is the Sugar Creek Loop. Since I'm running the event, I don't want to go out and lead a group, but I know there's some other people that said, hey, I'll lead some stuff. And we've got a lot of people that are brand new to overlanding, and the Sugar Creek Loop is a great way to get out and, kind of test your rig. So I thought about trying to do some group runs there. I would like to do maybe a little harder one where you go down to Purgatory and stuff, and then maybe one, out west of Hinton where it's a little more scenic, just kind of gravel roads, kind of split the groups up to where if you want something a little more challenge, we could send you one way. Or if you want, just a gravel road and you got more of a stock vehicle, we could send you another way. But yeah, just stay in communication. Hopefully the Red Rock stuff will grow. I just haven't had time here lately because work's been insane to really dig into that. Jaws says he'll help out. I appreciate it. October 5th weekend to get new tent and awning at Overland Addict. That would be a fun trip. I'm curious to see what you're getting. You know, one thing I can say about that dude is yes, he has a nice rig, but he probably spends more time on the back roads than any of us, and he puts his rig to the test. I appreciate seeing stuff like that. So, a few people have mentioned it, but upcoming events, we've got the Big Iron Rally coming up. I think it's September 29th through 30th up in Kansas. I think it's a pretty good event. They got bands and stuff. It's a good hangout, a neat area. I'm not going to make it this year. That's just too far of a trek, and I'm short on vacation time and stuff. So one of these years, maybe I'll make it to that one. And then we've got Rendezvous in the Ozarks coming up October 12th through the 14th, I think. It's fall break for most people. If you've never been to an event, I always recommend the Rendezvous. If you're looking for a bunch of vendors and kind of a show kind of thing, it's, to me, Rendezvous is not it. But if you're looking for more of a family reunion, hang out with some great overlanders, people that you're likely to see every year there, some great trails, some great stuff to do. Rendezvous in the Ozarks to me is amazing. There's a lot of people that's the only time I'll see them every year is at the Rendezvous. And it doesn't hurt that it's right in the middle of an awesome area to explore. You can go out, hit trails, you can go out and see waterfalls and plenty of places to camp while you're over there. My goal for this year heading to the Rendezvous is probably going to be like normal, head out the weekend before and do some exploring in Arkansas all the way up until the event and then end up there. I know a lot of the groups like OKC Overland, I think, is kind of already talking about hanging out and camping together. If anybody wants to do that, reach out with me. We can put something together too. But I think that's a great event. And then, like I said earlier, in November, probably the second weekend, I got to double check with Red Rock and see if they're still available. I think they are. But Red Rock's been good to us. There's enough room and stuff there to have an event. So that's a plus. There's a lot of places like state parks and things that I can't hold the event because they won't let us park on the grass and, different rules. But hopefully that'll be a good one. Last year, it kind of snowed on us a little bit and was a little cold. But being Oklahoma, it could be 100 degrees. You never know. But I'm more of a fall camper anyway, so I like the winter weather. So I don't know. I've got an air conditioner runner in the background. I don't know if y'all can hear that. And then you may also hear some clicking from this stupid little thing. It's some kind of fidget toy that I bought my kids at one point, but I have it because when I'm editing videos and stuff, I'll sit here and play with it to keep me busy. It's a bad habit, but it actually helps with editing videos. So if any of y'all are content creators, something like that helps. But I know I'm rambling. That's kind of how I am if you know me in person anyways. So as far as Sooner State Overland, I've had a few people reach out because we haven't done much this summer as far as group trips. This fall, yes, I'm going to kick back off some group trips. I don't know how often I'm going to do them because honestly, it's a lot of work, especially if you're planning for like 12, 15 rigs. And that's kind of been my goal lately is to be able to accommodate that. A lot of times that means the weekend before I'm going out and running some of these routes, checking some of these campgrounds and doing different things like that. And it's a lot of work. So I don't know this fall how that's all going to play out. But I am going to get back into it. As well as, my personal trips and just smaller rig count trips that'll all be coming. But I'm hoping this month, since it looks like it's starting to cool down next week, I'm hoping to start rolling out some dates and some plans for some trips. So if you know of anything y'all want to do, any trips you missed out last year, I'm sure we'll repeat some of the same areas because there's not a lot here in Western Oklahoma. But reach out and let me know on some of that stuff. I also just realized this banner's been scrolling down here saying it'll begin shortly. My bad. So, as far as the group trips and the size of the group trips and stuff, I've been in talks with a few people on how to make things smaller and more personable on some of these trips. One of the ideas, let me know what y'all think, is to have a paid side of Sooner State Overland where you kind of have to pay in to get into some of these private chats. And the reason behind this, possibly, if we do it, would be just to kind of weed out some of the people that are just kind of here, and honestly, just see where we go and see our roots and stuff. Out of the 1,000+ members on Sooner State Overland, a lot of people, when they join up, they're literally just in their comments, they'll say they're looking for roots and looking for places to camp. And so for those of us that go out on the weekends and we want to post up and say, hey, we're going here, who wants to go? That's kind of tough when you do that to 1,000 people because you may end up with 40 or 50 people out with you. So one of the things we've considered is doing some kind of paid separate group where it would be a smaller group of people. And then that money that you pay in could in turn be used to pay for campsites and stuff if we go somewhere that's a pay site, just things like that. So just kind of let me know what y'all think. I know a lot of people will probably watch this later after the fact. So comment or message me or something if that's something you'd like to see, because it would kind of be nice to have a smaller group of people to where we could reach out. And then as well as feeling more free to share waypoints and stuff. You know, I know a lot of us have seen waypoints get shared and then places get trashed. And if you had someone that has paid in and it's a smaller group, you know, it seems like they'd be more serious. Maybe you'd be a little more willing to share waypoints and stuff. So that's one option with the Sooner State stuff, is something like that. Another thing that I've really considered, which I think would work for a lot of people, is doing some day trips as well. I've done them kind of off and on the last few years, but I know some people can't commit to camping all the time, but doing some day trips, even on like the Saturdays where they have the rigs and coffee, maybe have something in the works that, hey, we're going to go out for 3 or 4 hours after that and go hang out. I think that's some options. So as far as West OK Overland and like my channel and my personal stuff, this fall, obviously, I'm going to plan on some camping trips. Last year, I did a lot of group trips. I did a lot of miles. And honestly, it's hard to film videos and hard to make quality content when you're doing a lot of that stuff. And a lot of those weekends got scrapped for that. You know, I'd start filming and then just start hanging out with everybody and scrap it. So I'd like to do some more base camp style, you know, set up somewhere and explore an area, hike a little bit, actually kind of dig into what's around some of these places. Now, these don't have to be solo trips. You know, if we have 2 or 3 people that's kind of got the same goal in mind, I think that would work out good as well. Man, the comments stopped. I don't know if everything froze up, if y'all fell asleep because I'm boring or what. So hopefully I'll have some guests join up with me in the future, especially on the discussions, because some of the topics I want to cover, like one would be Gaia versus Onyx. If I had someone that's, you know, a real pro at Onyx, we could kind of discuss back and forth Gaia versus Onyx. I think, a lot of this group chat stuff would be great for that. Another thing that I'm going to kick off this fall, hopefully pretty soon, is I intend to go out and rerun the Oklahoma Adventure Trail. I haven't decided if I'm going to do it in the Subaru or if I'm going to do it in the Jeep or a mix. We'll kind of see how that plays out. But the goal with this one is not going to be in a hurry like my last trip, because the last one, honestly, I just flew through it. This time I want to slow down and actually explore it a little bit more. So hopefully y'all are still with me here. I'm just trying to check to make sure this is still being broadcast. It says it is. But I'm not sure because the comments have stopped. Could be a glitch on my end. Yeah, I think it's still working. It says people are still commenting. I'm just not seeing them. How weird. All right, I've got a few private messages, so that's awesome. I'm not here talking to myself. Because if you've ever done this, this is very awkward if you are talking to yourself. Let me see if I can figure out why the comments have stopped on my end. So, technical difficulties, bear with me. It's possible in this little town I live in too. Some of the issues may be the internet and stuff here. I do have pretty decent internet as far as what they offer, but I know streaming and stuff like this can take a lot. But I don't have anything since John's comment here. Weird. Now I kind of know what some of these people that do these podcasts every weekend go through. Give me a second here. I'm going to pull up on my phone, or attempt to, the live stream so I can see comments. All right. So, for those of you still with me, because this software is being goofy, if you want to swap over to the Sooner State Overland Facebook page, I've got those comments pulled up. So, some people said the game just started. I don't watch sports, so I'm sure those of you are tuning into that. But anyways, let's see, what have I missed here? Planning a run or two at Rendezvous. Last year, I did lead a couple little group rides. It was kind of impromptu. We just kind of got together and made a plan and went out and did some stuff. So, yes, I would like to do some of that stuff. Steven said he would like to do the oat. My goal, if I can get enough people together that kind of want to commit to possibly doing the whole thing through this fall, my goal doing the oat would be like one weekend a month. We would go out, start somewhere, drive until the weekend's over, and then that, be our pickup point for the next time we go back out, and just take our time, check out what we see along the way, and film it as well. So if I could get 3 or 4 rigs that's kind of, more content friendly, that wants to do the whole thing all the way through, it'd be a good series. If not, I'd be willing to add a few rigs here and there. I don't want to do it as a big group because then camping and stuff's going to be tough, but smaller groups, you can plan on, campsites being easier, stuff like that. So that would be a good option. But last time I did the Oklahoma Adventure Trail, if you've seen my YouTube videos, I literally started it and did it in like 7 days straight through. And honestly, it kind of sucked because I would just pass things and be like, oh, that looked cool. Yeah, I wish I could have stopped there. Like I had destinations in mind and goals to be able to complete it. And I missed out on a lot because of that. So I'm looking here, still shows I'm live. My StreamYard is still frozen here, so I don't have comments still. How weird. But again, that's kind of why I'm doing this before I have guests, before I really have a planned set list for the night. Work out some of these technical difficulties before the next time. But yeah, back to the Oklahoma Adventure Trail. For those of you that's not familiar, it was created by Adventure Bike Guys. I think it was mapped out in like 2014 was the latest. I do know one of the Adventure Bike Guys have stepped back out and kind of took over it, and he's remapping it because a lot of the roads got closed. And honestly, some of the areas it missed some of the best things. So hopefully there'll be a redone version of that coming out at some point. But I'm going to probably try to go and do the original one. Just to kind of, stay with my roots, because that's the track I followed years ago. And I kind of want to just go out and do it again. It would be a good one, honestly, to take the Subaru, because a large majority of it I know I could do in the Subaru. If I remember right, there's a few spots I'll have some issues. But we'll see there. I wish there was a way to kind of refresh the stream and get comments rolling back up again. That way I could share them on the screen for you. Steven says he did the Sugar Creek Loop a couple weeks ago and rushed it. Wish he would have stopped more. Yeah, whenever I do a group run on it, and honestly, we usually cut out some of it. It's an all-day thing for us normally. We'll start out 8, 9 in the morning, and then basically all the way up until camp. If you're by yourself, though, 3 or 4 hours, you could fly through it. But to be able to stop and take pictures and actually enjoy it and stuff, the Sugar Creek Loop is an all-day thing normally. Now, last January, I think, there was a group that reached out and asked me to lead them. They were coming over here to do it. And we split it up into 2 days, and we kind of did the east half one day, the west half one day, and then I added in some extra roads in between. That was probably my favorite trip I've done on it. I think we saw a lot more, got to cover more miles, and got to slow down and enjoy it more. That was a lot of fun. I actually haven't done the Sugar Creek Loop in a while. I've thought about doing a group run because there's a lot of new people that would like to go do it, but they don't want to go alone. I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, it's just gravel roads and stuff to most of us, but you got to remember some of these people stepping into overlanding and stuff are brand new to this, and the Sugar Creek Loop in itself is a challenge for them. So maybe coming up, I'll try to throw together some Sugar Creek Loop runs. I know a lot of the different groups and stuff tend to come out and do it like once a year or something as well. Trying to watch on my phone here to see comments that I may be missing. Ben says Sugar Creek Loop is a great introduction to this kind of activity. I agree. I hate though the way Sugar Creek Loop kind of got blown up by the off-road community because it's not off-road. It's literally all on roads. And I get it, but a lot of people, they see the pictures from Purgatory Road and stuff, and they come think the entire trail is that, and they think that they can just hop on one end of the trail and drive the whole dang thing without a map. And that's pretty hard to do because it's literally just random turns on random back roads, like without the map, that you get lost easily. And I've kind of gotten some flack from that. I mean, it's not my fault, but yeah, the off-road community kind of jumped on that, and a lot of those people don't even realize I have other routes out there. That's kind of why I've stopped, at least in the meantime, publishing new routes, because if everybody's just going to do the Sugar Creek Loop, then there's no point in me risking sharing some of these other old schoolhouses and old abandoned buildings and stuff on other routes if people are going there for the wrong intentions and stuff. But I do think the Sugar Creek Loop is pretty cool. Honestly, I never expected it to grow and be what it is today. And probably if it wasn't for a few people that have shared it in certain places like Reddit and Onyx and stuff, it probably would have never gotten the fame. And that's a lot because I don't share my crap. It's a bad habit of mine. Other than my few groups, I don't share stuff out very often. And some things I know could have grown a lot more if I would share it more. I still see people dropping into the live stream here. For those of you dropping in late, the comments for whatever reason on StreamYard is froze up on my end, so I'm not seeing anything new. So I'm kind of watching them here on the Sooner State Overland Facebook group. So I can't pop them on the screen. But I'll try to figure that out before the next one. But anyways, yeah, coming up, it's fall. I'm excited to get back out there. I know a lot of people are excited to get back out there. I've had several reach out here lately and say, hey, when are we going to get back at it? And honestly, if the weather wasn't changing so soon and with the whole newborn and everything, I'd probably be trying to get something together next weekend to get out. But I've got several projects that I need to get done before this fall, before I get busy and start camping every weekend again. I got piles of boxes of parts and stuff to get thrown on the rigs, as well as some maintenance stuff. So that's a good point for those of you that go out and do this stuff. Take care of your rigs. My Jeep started making some noise on one of the hubs, pulled the wheel off, and my brakes were gone and have been gone a while. That's totally my fault. But, there's a lot of extra weight on that rig. There's a lot of extra stuff there. Um, so got new brakes in the box, ready to go on. But with the newborn, obviously that didn't happen this weekend. But hopefully next weekend will be a shop weekend, and then I can get back to doing some stuff. Ben asked if there's any new mods for the Subaru. Yes, I've got some boxes, some things I'm pretty excited about. At the end of the day, though, with the Subaru, the goal has been a budget build. There's a few things like the rack. There was no way to short that. Putting a quality rack on the roof just made all the sense. But I've got some other things that's definitely going to be cool coming on it, as well as a budget build out. I've got all the parts there to do it. I just need the time. Jeremy says paid side for routes and events. Great idea. Also be interested in helping. Yeah. Cause like I said, I run Sooner State Overland. I've got the back road explorations page. I've got several things like that, as well as, like I said, I'm on almost every overland page. I know people join up almost every day. They're just looking for other people posting about where they're going camping, what they're doing, things like that. So I get the people that hide in the background, because I do that on a lot of pages as well. But, it's kind of hard, especially for someone that's not used to doing a group trip, to post up, hey, I'm going out here this weekend. Who wants to go with me? And posting that to thousands of people. So I think maybe doing some kind of little paid smaller group kind of thing, it would weed out some of that. But I'm still just kind of running a lot of these thoughts in my brain. I overthink things, and I've usually got a million things going, just like this whole live stream thing. I've been considering this for probably about a year now. And I've just kind of jumped on it. Honestly, I wasn't even going to plan on doing this till like noon today. And I said, all right, let's just do it. But as far as back to the mods and stuff, yes, Subaru's got some mods coming. The Jeep has just, maintenance stuff. I basically got the Jeep to where I'm happy with it. It's pretty well set up. It does what I need it to do, and don't see any need in upgrading something if it works. Sometimes simple is the way to go. Although with the whole newborn and stuff, the camping situation could very well change. He won't be coming out for a little while, obviously, but we'll see with that. And again, just because I keep seeing people jumping in on here, the comments are messed up on StreamYard. I'll go back and try to reply to the different streams that I've got out there in case I missed your comment. I'm seeing the ones on Sooner State Overland group, which is where most of you are watching, I believe. But I'm excited. The fall cooler weather's here. For those of you that don't know, summer is my busy time with work, and I've been working basically 16-hour days for the last couple months. I'm ready to be done with it, ready for it to calm down and go back to camping and exploring and overlanding, or whatever you want to call it. So I'm excited for that. Been about 50 minutes, which is longer than I expected to be able to talk. I figured I would bore myself and bore everyone else by now. And there's still people here. So let me know in the comments, is this something y'all want to keep doing? I know, again, Sunday nights is horrible for most people, but with work and stuff, it works for me. I think it would be a good way to jump in and say, hey, here's where we went this weekend. Kind of recap your story while it's fresh on your mind. So reach out if you want to join in and kind of do trip reports and stuff every now and then. Hopefully I'll get the software working a little better by next time. But if y'all want to keep doing something like this, I'll gladly do it. I think I can have up to 10 people on the screen at a time, so we can actually do some discussion stuff every now and then with this, as well as the chat and stuff. I love this kind of stuff. Um, Feedback from people that's actually in my backyard doing my kind of stuff, I think is the way to go. Just as a recap, though, we've got some great events coming up. I've got most of them posted on the Sooner State Overland page. The cleanup run up at Goose Island, I think that's a great event, especially because I've been to our public areas. They're trashed. It's usually the locals that do it. It's usually not us kind of people, but we'll go clean it up. We'll go kind of do our part. We've done some here on the west side of the state. Now they're jumping in on the east side of the state, and I think that's awesome. If I can, I'll try to make it out to that, but I don't know that I will. Also, we've got the Big Iron coming up. I know a lot of people are planning for that. The Rendezvous coming up in October in Arkansas. That's a great event. And then in November, I'll start planning out some stuff. People throw some ideas at me and stuff, and we'll get the Red Rock. I think this year I'm going to call it the West OK Overland Rally, or not, the Western Oklahoma Overland Rally or something, because it does kind of cover the west side of the state. And last year I had a blast, simple hangout, got to meet a lot of new people. I think we can do that again. So, but I'm going to quit rambling. It's almost been an hour, and hopefully we'll join in and do this again, probably next weekend, especially if between now and then I can get a guest that wants to come in and talk about a topic or something. We'll kind of plan out a little more of a show and be a little more enjoyable. Keep the comments going, keep the posts going. Whatever group you're in, whether it's Sooner State Overland, OKC Overland, Wonder Oklahoma, Okie Overland. There's tons of great groups in Oklahoma, but there's also a ton of people that don't ever post and do anything. So let's start posting. Let's keep growing the Oklahoma Overlanders and show that we've got a great community here. That way, all these new people stepping in, they've got a good following, or a good base to learn off of. But I'm going to end it here. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for not calling me names or anything in the chat, or at least that I've seen. Thanks for letting me ramble for a little while, and we'll do it again sometime. So see y'all later. And like I always say, there's still another mile left to explore. I'll see you on the trail.